today. I have the pleasure to present our today's panel specialists. First, we have Mr. Frank Harms from Germany. He is the Managing Director of the German Steel Tube Association and member of the European Steel Tube Association. Second, from United States, Mr. Don Gibeaut. He is the Global Product Manager Tubular for AjaxTocco Magnetics. Third, we have Enrico Caruso from Italy. He is the Executive Steel Trading Consultant for steel tubes. Last but not least, myself as the President of the ITA. I would like to give a little introduction. As you see, the Corona started in China, in Wuhan and Hubei province. After China, it also took control of Europe, of the United States, and also Brazil and India. So many countries have decided to lock down major parts of the public, industrial and private activities to protect human lives. This, in consequence, had caused that the consumption of the energy and most industrial goods has fallen totally apart. And major supply and service chains are not working anymore. Today, we will talk about 4 major market segments: the oil country tubular goods, automotive, mechanical engineering, and construction. How the Corona pandemic has influenced these important market segments of the steel tube and pipe market. Secondly, we will also discuss how can we serve the clients and how can we maintain customer contacts during this pandemic. I hope it will be interesting for you, and I hope you will have a lot of questions which you can also ask via the system. So I would like to hand over to our colleague, Mr. Frank Harms.
Okay, now everyone should be able to hear me. Thank you, Gunther. I do not see any slides now. Perhaps you should show them. I was asked to start with the impact of the Corona on the automotive market. Okay, and the next slide, please. Well, what you will see in the next slide is there it is. You see the emissions of new cars and light trucks in Germany, USA, Europe, and China. And what is clearly to be seen is that after a comparable low year in 2019, the figures crashed down in 2020. And they already recovered some way, and by the strongest in China. China almost reached the pre-crisis level and is slightly above, and we expect that it will recover further on. The sales in the world are to be seen in the whole year 2020 at a minus of 15%. In the first half of the year, it was almost 20%. Well, that's the first slide for automotive. Then we have machinery. In Germany, this is the slide on the left side. Inspections improved, but the situation, the situation still is really bad. And it's even worse, and this is the slide on the right side, outside of Germany. The order intake is still weak, and from the side of Germany, especially from outside of Germany. The situation in Germany itself is a little bit more stable than in general. And what you see on the, you do not see it, the situation in China is even better over there than in our region. And now the next slide is the influence on our industry. First slide is the apparent consumption of cold run tubes in Europe. And you can see that production will be in 2020 at an average of minus 10%. In the first half of the year, we had minus 20%, but the market is strongly recovering. And the same is for apparent consumption. Then we come to the hot rolled seamless tubes. Next slide, please. Very similar. Production and apparent consumption down in 2020, and even more than in the automotive industry, we see a minus of 20%. Strongly down due to the corona crisis. Although we have a lot of long-time contracts in this market segment, but market is recovering here too. And in the end, we have the side of the whole steel tube market without large diameter pipes, because this product is not so strongly depending on economic, is a project business. And we see a very similar picture. The production is down, apparent consumption is down, and we had a low in April and May, but we see recovery is ongoing, but we do expect that we will see the pre-crisis level only in 2022. This would be my first remarks. Thank you.
Okay, can we see the next slide, please? Okay, the OCTG industry is very much, or consumption for tube and pipes is very much depending on the number of rigs, the depth of the drilling, and the capacity of the rigs. As you see in this first slide here on the left side, you can see that a comparison of the rig count versus the oil price, and you can see that it is very, very parallel. That means if the oil price goes down, the number of rigs in operation is going down or is going up. Now, as a consequence, we can see that due to Corona, when the world oil consumption decreased by more than 30% from about 100 million barrels per day to only 70 million barrels per day, it was absolutely directly reflected in the consumption or in the number of rigs, because the oil price was collapsing by about 60% due to the tremendous oversupply of oil. We can see here until January 2020, the oil price was increasing to a level of about $60 per barrel. And then from January to May, it really collapsed down to 25. The WTI was even going below zero, but this had other reasons in essence. But we can say that WTI and Brent are having very similar developments. Here, this chart shows the WTI prices. Now you can see that on April 20th, the oil production countries have agreed to reduce the production by about 10 million barrels per day for the months May and June to stabilize the prices, which really showed effect. In May, you could see that the price was recovering up to $40 per barrel. Now, as of today, you must see that since then, the price is not changing very much. It is between 40 and 43 US dollar for WTI per barrel. Considering this price level, we have to, can we have the next slide, please? We have to compare that with the cost in the different countries to produce one barrel of oil. And you can see how challenging this Corona situation was. You can see in average the average price in the countries is somehow between 25 and 35 US dollars per barrel, depending. But this is an average price. That does not mean that even in these countries there is quite a spread between the different producers. And it is quite clear that the oil exploration industry immediately stopped its drilling activities at such low prices, which were at 25 to 30, and even nowadays 40. It's not really restarting again. And the United States, as the largest oil and gas producing country in the world, has reduced its important horizontal drilling activities. Horizontal drilling is representing the shale oil activities, and they have been reduced by 26% since March 2020. That means the tremendous and important shale oil producing companies are really having significant problems. And many analysts even expected bankruptcies of such companies who produce oil at higher prices. Now, if we see the prices for oil and for steel and pipe tubes, here I have from the FRED, that is the United States price level, has only reduced by about 4%. And it seems that it is now stabilizing at this lower level. But we have to see, as also Frank Harms has already said, many of these contracts are having longer duration, so the effect may be seen only later this year. And we can see that the usage of the OCTG tubes is not really great, so the pipe storages are filling up. And it is also to be expected that the order volumes and prices will be sliding down for the tube and pipe industry in the second half of this year. So it can be seen as a critical market for the tube and pipe industry. Can we have the next slide, please? Now, if we look at the construction industry, as our Russian friend has already said, is in some areas extremely strong. And we can see that the reduction of the growth in 2020 has been in some countries quite significant, in others not so significant. We can see that in the United States, we still have some growth of 2.6%. In the Euro countries, we have a shrink of about 5.4%, headed by France with 16 and Spain with 12, and Great Britain, which is not an Euro country, but has also more than 15%. But all the countries are expecting in 21 significant recovery. And we can see that the spending in the United States, as again Fred is showing, has been reduced by about 3.5% this year. But this is not as much as we might have expected. Still, we have a strong competition between tube and pipe structures and the concrete structures in this construction industry market. And we can see and we hear from many tube and pipe producers who are specialized on this segment that they have full order books for the next month still. And it is also so that it is a positive trend that the GDP growth and the urbanization will continue to be a mega trend, and they will definitely support this market segment. So as far as we can see, the companies being active in this business, they are feeling a quite or relatively good situation. Can we have the next slide, please? So in consequence, we can say the world tube and pipe stocks are full. That means when they are full, there is not such a demand. New supply contracts will consider lower prices and smaller supply lots, which is not so easy to be handled. That means flexibility and cost effectiveness will be even more demanding. Some weak traders and some weak producers are expected to go out of business. Some plants will probably be shut down because the capacity is too high. Regional, lean and agile, cost-effective, flexible and customer-oriented players have some advantages they can use. Optimized production facility as well as agile digital solutions offer, such as Industry 4.0, offer further opportunities to stay successful. And it is quite clear, interrupted and discontinued business situations always offer new strategic opportunities for such players who are quite strong. And we can say that best and strongest players with innovative business strategies will survive and will gain better business potentials. Can we have the next slide? Okay. Thank you.
Other parts of the world. Thanks for the ITA for putting this on. I'm going to give you a little bit more of what we call boots on the ground report when we look at the world tube market, OCTG, automotive, construction, and mechanical. The first comment is it's slow. It is slow in all segments. OCTG, I'm located in Houston, Texas, so that's a big push for us. We entered into 2020 with a very large backlog. We make very complex, large heat treat quench and temper lines, as well as all different types of equipment for tube manufacturing. But it seemed like the larger heat treat quench and temper lines, we ended up with 4 major orders going into 2020 that we were in manufacturing. And so that we still have one to go. We just finished last week the 3rd one, which I have a short video we'll show you towards the end. But 2019 was a record year. We do have activity in all these segments, but it is definitely slower. Automotive is definitely slow. Construction, we see kind of holding its own, and mechanical tubing, we even had a couple new mills announced in the US here recently in the last month. So that was very encouraging. How to keep customer contacts alive was another question. Web meetings, we went into this COVID shutdown with great expectations. We would do a lot of online meetings to take the place of our personal sales presentations, and that fell short of our initial expectations, I think, for everyone. We thought it'd be a lot more prevalent than what it's turned out. More phone contacts. We've done a lot of online meetings through the phone more so than video, where we've actually more like a conference call. We ended up doing more with the ability to show slides as we need. Visits when able. In the US, I've been traveling for about 2 months. And you know, everybody is practicing the social distance as much as you can in an airport. On the planes, you've got masks. So we've been able to move around pretty good in the last couple months. The only problem is when you go somewhere, I had one trip, we lost 80% of the meetings we had set up. They couldn't go through because their areas got into what we call a red zone. So you got to be a little flexible. But as long as hand sanitizer doesn't cause cancer in the next couple years, I think we'll all be fine, because I have used more than my share, I guarantee, especially in airports. Social media, we've seen quite a bit of activity, quite a few of these webinars in social media. It's really taken off well. You see it now everywhere on LinkedIn, quite a few of them. How to serve customers. We've been able to be very innovative. In one particular instance was with a company in China. And you have to appreciate the complexity of these heat treat quench and temper lines. We started up one via video. Our whole engineering department, commissioning department with the customer's engineering department, was managed to work through video and with modem connections through our power sources and into the controls. And it was something that was completely unheard of. We would never even fathom this, that we could do this, and we pulled it off. Very successful. The system is in production. It was in China, and it was about February. Just to, let me run the video that I've got to show everybody, Jennifer, if you could, just to show the complexity of these lines, to get a grasp of this task that we took on. That really showed us we have a lot more versatility than we thought with electronics and through the media. So if you could run that video, Jennifer. So this is a heat treat quench and temper. We just finished the contract last week. You can see the pipe coming up to 1650 to 1850, depending on the alloy. But here's a quench system. It has to be heated up very uniform. In the vaults to the right and left are big multi-megawatt power supplies. And you see all this handling, moving 40-foot pieces of pipe. Now it's going into the temper side, going back through to the cooling bed. And again, 43-second video. I just wanted to give you a feel of the complexity. Just wanted to give you a feel of the complexity of these lines. Now imagine doing that remote from the US and Ohio, which is our corporate engineering group, with China. It was an amazing feat that was accomplished. But COVID has stretched our limits and shown us that we can do things beyond what we thought was capable. We're working closer with vendors. During some of our startups, we've had other vendors, like for hydro test and things, come to us and say, we couldn't send our people. Do you have people on the ground? So we're able to forge a few more relationships with vendors a lot closer. More focused on planned personal meetings, I have as a note. When we do go out, it's a lot more focused. We have a bigger agenda. We spend more time with the customers. And that's proven to be very successful for us in building relationships. More time with each other. Our company is doing training. Like I run the bar.
To everybody, thank you very much for the folks and for ITA for this opportunity. The first slide.
Of course.
Okay, thank you. So as everybody experienced, coronavirus impacted severely all our lives. So especially the social part of our activity and our life. So I'm going to tackle this this panel mostly from the commercial point of view. So the sociality and the commercial aspect of the business is very, very important. This virus impacted heavily this part of the business. So obviously we are bound to travel, so we cannot anymore travel to visit our customer, okay, or we can do it only in a limited way. We have problems to have dinner and customer with lunch. So, you know, as Italian, avoiding a glass of wine is really a drama with the customer. And obviously also the entertainment has been canceled. So we have a very few occasions to interact with our customer to keep them working with us. So we should really looking how to interact with them, how to keep the relation alive, how to let me say, build some relation to keep going with the business. So we should for sure organize our marketing differently. So maybe start to use a social network, I mean a video conference and phone calls on a much regular basis, but also some newsletter, like technical newsletter. We should involve really much more the customer in our business life, understanding that we are present and we are working with them. Another very important part of the customer relation, how to recover it and to keep the customer with us, is for sure the customer service. So we have to understand that in many industries, the people working in the companies, in most of our customers, has been obliged to, okay, slide number 2, perfect, has been obliged to work on from home, so with smart working, home working. So they are really not anymore in the situation to interact with their colleagues and to have a possibility to access to the paper, on whatever they need. So for sure, investing a little bit more in our IT system, give the customer the opportunity to touch our industry, to enter in their order processing, in the certificates, in the delivery notes, having much more access to our system, allow them to work much better. And for sure, everybody prefers to work with people where there is very easy to entertain business. One of the other main issues is the personal relation with the customer. So this is, I think, the most important aspects of the organization, and how to conserve, preserve, and improve our customer relation with it. So what is very important is to understand that our business is made by interaction. So the difficulties to travel, the band to travel, the band to meet them face to face, wake up again much more than before. They need to have a local contact, so a local man, local guy, a local organization that is working on your name for you in the market. So unfortunately, it's not anymore possible taking a flight in Beijing the day after being Milano, making a business, or from US or from Germany coming to Milano. That is not anymore easy. It's not anymore possible. So you need somebody in the local market, and that is most probably the very, very important points that most of the industry, in the steel industry, should understand, that we needed to organize our business much more local, especially from the commercial point of view. Could you go with the slide, please? Jennifer? Okay. Because what is very important and is the mantra for the business, is the mantra of the commercial guy, is that people do business with people they like. Know and trust. So that's very important. If you cannot travel anymore, you should have somebody local that get the trust of the customer, get the knowledge of the customer, and stay with them and keep going with the business. So it's very, very important to understand and to reorganize themselves in this way. So there is no customer that places an order over the phone just because at once in a time, a nice phone call. Please. Again, I want to underline what is the rules of a good relationship. So the rules of a good and strong partnership with your customer. That's for sure. Treat every relation like an investment. So with our partner, local partner, or with our customer, we should always have a very open, transparent relation. We should listen more than before what the customer is going to say us. So there's difficulties with payments, with financing, there is difficulties with the deliveries. We have many, many difficulties to keep the business running. And today we have to listen much more than before what the customer is saying to us. And for sure, language barriers, local people can absolutely make it easy understand what's going on. We should be always generous and authentic, because we are human. We understand when somebody lied to us. So please. And last and not least, I would like to underline some points that is very important, because during this coronavirus period, everybody understood the very importance of to have a loyal customer, to have a regular customer, to have a customer that stay with us in the good time, in the bad time. So I would like to, let me say, refresh to everybody some very simple rules, but they are the mantra of a good working company with a good customer service and good opportunity to have business with them. So it's acquiring new customer always costs 5 times more than keeping an old customer. So we should build a loyal customer. We should have a loyal customer and regular customer with us. We have also to remember that increasing the customer retention, so the customer stay with us and give a regular business, only 5% can bring 25 to 30% increase in our profit. So we should really understand that loyal customer, regular customer is very important, and people that can keep the customer loyal with us. We should also listen that the successful rate of selling to your existing customer is 60 to 70% compared to 20% of the new customer. So the old customer is always ready to listen to you, your proposal, your business, your new opportunity. So we should focus on the loyal customer, especially in this very, very tight period. And the last simple rules, 5% improvement in customer retention can easily increase our profit by even 25%. So local people that are able to keep your customer with you and not lose the customer is the way to survive in this very tough time. So I'm ready to interact with the folk and understand the different point of view. Thank you.
Enrico. Thank you very much, Enrico.